Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, Bahasham, YAHAWASHI, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS and the Akim pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. So, yeah, I just seen this post. 4 dead in shooting incident at Pensacola Naval Base. Suspect was Saudi national, officials say. So, yeah, this is the second shooting for Salakia. The second shooting at a naval base this week. So this 4 people are dead, including the suspect, after an active shooting incident at a naval base in Pensacola, Florida. Police said the shooter was identified as Mohammed Ashlamlah, a Saudi national and member of the country's Air Force who was in the U.S. for flight training. Law enforcement officials familiar with the investigation told ABC News. Investigators are trying to determine whether the shooting was a terror-related, the officials say. So Esau's he's gonna spin this. He's gonna use it to try to make war. Which I just seen the brother's video. GMS Solemn Assembly. Pentagon confirms it's drawing up plans to send as many as 7,000 troops to Middle East, despite threat from Iran and Donald Trump's pledge to end the endless war. So yeah, so Esau's planning to keep going to war. And this, it could have been staged. There was this years ago. This guy who he was hearing voices in his head, and he wrote on his gun, my elf weapon. But here's a script. There's this 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, so there's Esau one of Esau's devices. He uses mind control. Uses these different tools to get into people's heads and control what their actions are. So a mental perception thought is the word. I'll just play it.
Strong's G 3540. Naima.
The word for devices, a mental perception thought, an evil purpose. Yeah, so the Esau is always planning an evil purpose for anything. He's always plotting and scheming on what he can do to push his agenda further. So this was the second one. This was the second shooting this week. There was another one, and this is the second shooting incident on a Navy base in the last week. A 22-year-old active duty sailor opened fire on 3 civilian employees, killing 2 before he fatally shot himself at the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard near Honolulu on Wednesday, military officials said. Yes, so this is all it's could be the devices used by Esau to push his agenda. Which this was the one that happened years ago. It happened in 2013. But this guy, he was hearing voices in his head, and they were messing with him. They were because they have this weapon is called EELF. It's extremely low frequencies, which they could directly send voices into people's heads. So I'll just play it. Brother, remember this one.
Sources tell ABC News Alexis etched the words "better off this way" and "my ELF weapon" on the stock of the Remington 870 pump-action shotgun. Investigators want to know if "better off this way" was a signal Alexis expected to die during the massacre.
There were probably multiple triggers that caused him to decide, now's the time I'm going to take this course of action. Thinking about it, conceptualizing it, planning it in his head.
As for ELF, some investigators suspect it might refer to the tech phrase extremely low frequency. Alexis worked as a computer technician and recently ran it to police about hearing voices.
So this is what he told police when he was he believed he was being followed. So I'll just try to read it as best as I can. But it shows there was 3 people following him and using some type of device to speak through him, to keep him awake during his stay at the hotel, to put voices in his head, you know, until he finally thought he was going crazy. So watch, this is so I'll just try to read it as much as I can, but you could make out what he was saying. You know, obviously they black out some stuff and they didn't show the whole thing, but stunned that he is a naval something unknowing party in the airport believes that the individual has said 3 people to follow him and keep him awake by talking to him, and stated that he was not witnessed any of these individuals but believes the black female, the N-dub, it's always the N-dub, stated that he first heard them talking to him through a wall. Middletown then packed up and went to a hotel on the Navy base where, to him, through the walls, floor, and ceiling, which I believe they were talking to him through the walls, floor, and ceiling, stated that he moved to his Marriott first, said that the 3 individuals were speaking to him through the voices were coming through the ceiling, stated that the individual are a machine to send vibrations through the ceiling, penetrating his body, so he cannot, what the individuals were saying to him, he would not elaborate anything like this, and is worried that these individuals are going to harm him. A history of mental illness in his family, and that he has never had any sort of mental. Stay away from the individuals that are following him, and to notify NPD if they are. So they had sent people to use this device, the ELF, to mess with them, to keep him awake, to send voices in his mind to tell him to do certain things, to do this, which this was probably Esau's first what's it called, first test to run this thing. So now with all these things happening, they've probably perfected it already, because this was 2013, 2019. That I'm pretty sure they perfected the weapon that they had, the device that they were using. And
microwave machines bombarding his body. He told that bizarre story to Rhode Island police, who alerted Newport Naval Station authorities. But the Navy confirmed Wednesday the information was never passed up the chain of command. Alexis kept his job as a civilian contractor with the Navy and his secret security clearance.
Obviously,
yeah, that was it. You know, Lord willing is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, Bahasham, YAHAWASHI, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and the others at GMS and the Akim, pushing the sword in truth and in sincerity. And shalom to the elect and abad the ball.